A continuación va a impartir una conferencia Vihreälehto, que es actualmente directora ejecutiva de la Asociación de la Educación Patrimonial en Finlandia y que lleva más de 15 años de experiencia en el campo de la educación como profesora de Historia y Ciencias Sociales y directora en la Universidad de Tecnología de Tampere. Bueno, también tiene un montón de publicaciones, de libros, material digital e incluso libros de historia. Sabéis que en nuestra web están todos los perfiles de los currículums de los ponentes y de los participantes y, por tanto, bueno, ahí tenéis mucha más información complementaria de su currículum. Pero queremos hacer presentaciones de situación, después los ponentes van a desarrollar ya la ubicación en su contexto y posteriormente vamos a iniciar un turno de preguntas. Sin más, bueno, muchísimas gracias por haber venido, es un honor que estés con nosotros y todo tuyo.
Hello and welcome. I'm happy to be invited here, and I'm going to do my presentation in English since my Spanish is not really existing. So hopefully you will get your headphones. I'm sure you can still get those if you are needing one. So I'm coming from Finland. I'm an executive director in the Association of Cultural Heritage Education in Finland, and here's our team. We are 4 full-time workers. So there's sitting by me is Kati, and Kati is leading Heritage Hubs project, which is also, I'm going to tell you a little bit more later on. We have a Spanish partner in that EU project, so that might be interesting you more for that. And Kati, as well as me, we are historians. My background is teaching, and Kati is also a special education teacher. Then in front of Kati is sitting Eva-Maria. Eva is a kindergarten teacher, and then Kimi, who is in front of me, is an archaeologist. Also, we have 12 part-time workers who are doing our history clubs around Finland and one in Copenhagen in Finnish schools, but they are only part-time working for us. We have 9 projects, and 2 of them are European Union projects. So if I would put shortly, our funding is that we get most of the funding for maybe like, let's say, 2 people's salary from the Ministry of Culture and Education. We get a little bit funding from the Environmental Ministry, and other funding comes from the projects we do. So they are very crucial for us. We are working nationwide and also internationally. We are located in Helsinki. There you can see where our office is. Our office is small and very boring, but the house is very nice, as you see. It's the House of Nobility. And our job in Finland is to cooperate with the schools and kindergartens, daycare centers, and museums, World Heritage Centers, and like kind of activate both sides to be participating in our projects and also learning to kind of do the cooperation together. And the House of Nobility is very center in Helsinki, so if you are ever being there, kind of visiting, so just give me an email or call. You can, of course, come and visit us. We are happy to have visitors. Our most important task at the moment is that we are supporting the participatory skills of the youth and the children, so they would be acknowledged and remembered when there's decisions made which are like causing also them. Cultural participation is not so simple. Of course, we know it's a right, human right, but why does one child participate while another one doesn't? And according to studies that has been made in Finland, the kids and children who are participating more are usually having certain kind of family background, maybe a little bit higher social economic status family. And when there has been put more money, for example, kids to have hobbies, we in Finland think that every child should have at least one hobby. And actually we are as a government level putting quite a lot of money for that. It doesn't seem to kind of take all the kids into it. So there's coming more hobbies for same kids. So if there's like more art schools or these music schools, there's coming more kids who already have hobbies. So it's very hard when you are doing the cultural heritage or culture education to reach all. Except in Finland, we think the schools are the important tool. In Finland, we don't really have private school system, so basically over 90% of kids go to public school. So public school is a very good place to kind of get the whole generation and all the kids to be participating. So we are goaling that all the children of the youth would have equal chances to experience culture and cultural heritage. That photo is, by the way, from the House of Nobility where we are located. There's one concert we had over a year ago where there's a very cute choir doing their presentation. So how do we want to reach all the kids in schools? We started with this project called Culture Leap, which is supporting the culture education plans in Finnish municipalities. There is over 400 municipalities in Finland, and when we started 2014, there was maybe 40 of them having cultural education plan. And the idea is that the municipality is deciding what culture events the kids of that municipality will take part of during the school years. Sometimes it's quite minimum, so it might include like one visit per year in all the, for example, first graders would visit in concert and second graders would visit in theater. But sometimes in certain cities it's a very full program where the teachers can choose a lot of different things they can do with the kids. So municipality basically decides. But the point is that there would be equally all the kids involved. So it's not about the schools kind of activity level or the teachers' activity level, but the whole municipality has to kind of do it when it's decided. And how we wanted to help the culture education plans to go wider, hopefully this is working, we made this tool in internet. It's a web page where you can build your municipality the culture education plan. So it gives you some ideas what's it about and why you should have and how to do it. And then there's a tool so everybody can go there, like you just have to write your name and do your own password, and that's basically how you operate it. And this culture education plan actually won this year the Nostra European Union Prize. So we were giving the Grand Prix 10,000 euros in Berlin in June 2018. And here's a little video of our project. It has a little bit music behind, but shortly about that. I go one slide earlier. So there's, for example, one example I've written there that the city of Rauma, which is located in Western Finland, has 2 World Heritage sites. So they have included the World Heritage education to their culture education plan. So third graders will be taken on guided field trips to old Rauma town and 5th graders to Sammalahdenmäki, which is the archaeological site. So we have been thinking it's very important that the local areas are kind of coming known for the kids. So you start from the 1st and 2nd grade from the local things you see, and maybe in the 9th grade you will go further. And so far we've had really good experiences. So now over 100 municipalities are having the culture education plan. It doesn't maybe sound much, but we are the population of 5.5 million in Finland. Over 3 million people are now living in the area. There's culture education plan, so it's kind of over the half now. And it's been like growing the self-confidence of the kids. When they started, for example, in one quite small town in central Finland called Hankasalmi, they had the idea that they want to do more like film studies and study more as a film, as a form of art. And many years the kids were participating in different workshops or different things that somehow was kind of connected to film and the movies. So when the kids were 9th grade, they actually said that they want to organize a film festival. So they took the hands of the cultural heritage, and this is how it should work. It shouldn't be just that you visit somewhere and then you go back to school and you never talk about what you actually did, but it's like building during the years. And when there's this kind of plan, it is giving it possibility to kind of grow and decide that we in this area want to concentrate on these things. And also the children and the youth start understanding that, okay, this is our thing in this area. So if you are thinking of your area, I don't know how many of you are teachers here? Can you raise your hand? Quite many. So these are especially maybe for you, but is there like people who work in museums or art institutions? Is it some, maybe less? Okay, quite much. So these are the questions I would want you to think in your area. Like, do children have equal and fair access to cultural services in your area? Is it concerning all the kids from all the social economic background? What is the minimum that the child should learn or experience about the cultural heritage during the school years? In Finland it means 9 years. I don't know if you have the similar. So what is the minimum that in your municipality they should experience? Who pays the tickets or cost of transportation? If the municipality has decided, so then of course the municipality decides, and that's a kind of the ground question in Finland. So a lot of the areas that haven't taken the culture education plan, they are the areas that maybe don't have so wide variety of things of culture. And it might be that the transportation cost would be quite high. So for example, in the northern Finland there is usually a situation that the kids might go to museum when they go to swimming hall, since learning to swim is in a curricula in Finland. So we have a country of a lot of lakes, so it's been decided every child has to learn swimming. So there's always needs to be money for transportation. So in Finland all the kids are taking to swimming halls, but not necessarily to museums, which is like crazy and bad, I think. But that's how it is. So many schools are using the chance that when they are taking the bus and going to 150 kilometers to closest swimming hall, they might run through the museum in the same trip. Well, you can think if it's the best way to experience museum. I don't think not, but of course it's something. What will children learn when they are involved? This is really the question if you are working in the museum or the art institution, that what are you bringing to that child's life? What are you giving the kind of the building something that they already do in school? That is it growing, or is it something just separate, divided from their normal school day lives? I think when I was a kid and in Finland, when we visited sometimes for example, in museum, it was always just something different. It didn't we didn't do before when in the schools before, like any workshop. And when we came from the museum, we didn't continue. And I'm saying it's basically useless then. You should have built the motivation and learning before, and then you need to kind of do the closer at the school together. So those are the things that we are thinking hard when we are saying that the kids should visit the museums and institutions. And who does the planning? In Finland, it's mostly the teacher, because they know the best of what is good and done in different grades. So it's usually in municipality there's one teacher who is kind of responsible of the whole area's culture education, and she or he gets a little bit extra salary or has to work a little bit less in the school for that job. And how many of you are actually involved of culture heritage education or bringing the kids to museums? Raise your hands. I hope a lot of you. Some of you, okay. A little bit of our ideology. So we are thinking that the culture heritage education is sustainable skills and sustainable education. We want to support, of course, the Finnish children's own culture identity, but we are understanding that even now the majority of the Finnish kids are having the Finnish ethnic and nationality. There is growing amount of the kids who are coming from different countries, and I think their cultural identity should be also developed and helped to grow in the school, because the child can't just go from her or his own home culture to school's culture and then just do the visits in the home and the school. So they should be kind of unified somehow, that the teachers would be knowing that the kids they are teaching, that what kind of cultural identities there is and what they should be supporting. We think the local culture is really important, but it has to be like a growing, so from the local to national level, from the national level to global and the European level. And you can't jump straight to global level. You need to learn first your own local area and then the national area and so forth. And in the end, there comes the understanding the broader global community. And some skills we think the cultural heritage education is bringing to students' lives, the cultural literacy. So you are able to read. So if you are like a Spanish tourist visiting, for example, in Finland, Helsinki, you read certain things that are kind of common to you, and in our culture they are coming from European heritage background, and some things you can understand because there's some similarity and something different. I was last week visiting in Germany. I was in Leipzig, and in the evening I was walking. Leipzig has a lot of street musicians in the town. So I was walking there and listening what they are playing, and I felt a little bit annoyed because there wasn't any German kind of music played there. There was Oasis and some kind of old waltz music, which we have in Finland also, the similar kinds. And then I realized this street music, which starts to be around the Europe, like we also in Helsinki have the similar players than there was in Leipzig, is nowadays European heritage, and we can recognize it when we are walking around the European towns. So it's kind of also unifying us. Participation and influence skills, I think the participation and like giving the youth and the kids a chance to participate, it's also democratic education. You don't educate young people to be democratic global citizens if they don't have a chance to participate. They have to have equal rights to say their word and have their opinion and let their opinion to be heard also. So if you want to kind of be that the kids and youth are passive, then you don't, of course, teach them to be participating. In Finland, recent studies have shown that we actually have quite passive youngsters there, so we've been worried and we've been putting more education to these skills for understanding society and democratic values, because it doesn't seem to come on the easily and just freely. You have to teach them. And cultural diversity skills, which are more and more important in nowadays world. Understanding the specificities of cultures, dialogue and cooperation are very important. I have a friend who speaks some Spanish, so when there was a space, I hope it's not really wrong, she's Finnish, but she wanted to try. So a couple of headlines from our programs. We feel every child has a right to experience culture and to visit cultural sites, but also a right to interpret, shape and produce culture. so that we don't only take the kids to the castle or the palace and now children admire this great thing, but they have also a chance to kind of say their word about it and also produce culture. The photo is from a World Heritage Site in Finland, taken a few weeks ago. We are now having one project where the school kids who are living close to World Heritage Site are doing videos of the site. So they are writing the script, they are filming the video, and then it's published in the YouTube and also in that World Heritage Site own webpage, so that they are kind of taken as experts. This is also something I was a little bit maybe saying before, home culture should not be marginalized only within the home, because there is a risk that the child will feel like a stranger at home or at school or both. So the both identities, if they have many, should be kind of helped to develop full. This photo is from the Art Testers project in Finland, and that project, all the kids of 8th grade were taken to two culture events, one in the local area and one in the national level. So here is the kids of a school visiting in the National Art Museum of Finland. And we talk about learning, not teaching. If there's a lesson and the teacher doesn't learn during the lesson anything, that wasn't a good lesson. And how the teacher can be learning from the kids is that the teacher is kind of going with the flow, a little bit giving up the expertise and being like relaxed and listening and kind of going there, not all the time having in the mind where we are heading, what is the mission, but a little bit giving the relaxed feeling in the classrooms. I think Finnish classrooms are already kind of well known to be quite relaxed places for learning. And now our new curricula for all the schools in Finland was published last year. There's not even once a word teaching, only about learning there. So the idea is that everybody is learning, not that somebody is expert and just putting the information to somebody's head, because it's not active learning really. And to concentrate to things that unite us, not the ones that are different between the cultures. That is very important because we want to have the children and the youth who are open-minded and culturally aware and are able to kind of grow up in the global world we are living in. So this is a photo from the Lapland, from northern Finland, where they have a project that every year the whole village with the school goes to visit in one of the local spots. And this visit was actually a little bit traumatic one. It was very far in the forest, Second World War kind of fight area, where there had been a little farm where the partisans, the Russian partisans had hit, was it 1942, and killed several like normal family members. And that was kind of like a dark heritage to be remembered. Anyway, the whole village, they had to go actually there by cars and walking and even by boats to finally reach the place nowadays. And there was the people who still remembered what had happened, and they were discussing about it and these kind of things. So we are producing a lot of materials for schools, and sometimes we even ask what the teachers are wanting us to produce. So 2017 we made a questionnaire. We organized a tour in World Heritage Sites, in 5 of them in Finland, and asked teachers and educators to come, and during the day they were answering the questionnaire. We didn't find very maybe surprising results, so the teachers wished for videos, ready-made and easy-to-use teaching materials as well as training. Photo is from Suomenlinna, which is a World Heritage Site in Helsinki. And these kids actually live there. So this autumn we organized the Suomenlinna school kids, the Suomenlinna school students, to do video of the area And I'm going to show you, hopefully it works. They speak Finnish, but there is English subtitles there. And the other video I'm showing is from Merenkurkku area, which is a little bit more northern Finland. And there we had two different schools, one Swedish talking and one Finnish talking. Finland is having two national languages, and in that Merenkurkku area there is both Finnish speaking and Swedish speaking, which do not cooperate, sadly. So we wanted them to actually cooperate, and so the video is sometimes turning Swedish and sometimes turning Finnish. And I would really recommend these kind of video workshops for the teachers and educators and museums, because so far we found out that this is actually interesting way of working for those kids who are normally not interested of the cultural heritage. So, you know, if I could do a bit bad stereotype, but these wild boys are maybe more interested of doing video than they would normally be in the cultural heritage lesson. So they've been feeling like, oh, now we are like teachers when we are doing video for you. But actually we are even better than our teacher, because our video is going to be YouTube and everybody is going to see, but our teacher is just in our classroom. So the self-confidence has been growing in them. But yeah, let's see if this works. I'm not showing the whole video, I'm jumping to one interesting. Wait, I'm not.
Paraatikenttä on kenttä Suomenlinnassa, joka sijaitsee niin sanotun 100 metrin talon ja kirkon välissä. Paraatikenttää käytettiin moniin käyttötarkoituksiin, esimerkiksi harjoituksiin ja paraateihin. Nykyään sitä käytetään enimmäkseen urheilukenttänä. Talvella kenttä jäädytetään luistelukentäksi ja kesäisin siellä on jalkapallomaalit, joiden verkot ovat aivan rikki, koska Suomenlinnan hoitokunta ei jaksa vaihtaa niitä.
Haluamme huomauttaa, ettemme halua kuitenkaan haukkua hoitokunnan tärkeää työtä Suomenlinnassa.
Siellä pidetään myös silloin tällöin Suomenlinnan ala-asteen liikuntatunteja ja leirikoulutkin käyttävät sitä hyväkseen. Paraatikentällä on pidetty muutamia jalkapallootteluita sekä yksi turnaus. Tällä kentällä harjoitteli esimerkiksi jalkapallojoukkue nimeltä SLU, Suomenlinnan 05-06-ikäluokan jalkapallojoukkue. SLU harjoitteli tällä kentällä monia vuosia, jonka jälkeen nuoremmille ikäluokille alettiin myös tekemään jalkapallotreenejä. Kenttää ympäröi jo aikaisemmin mainittu 100 metrin talo, Nookin arkki, Suomenlinnan kirkko ja Hanhilinna ruohoalue kentän vieressä, joka on saanut nimensä Suomenlinnan lasten sekä nuorten toimesta.
Had a voice and they took it. So they wanted to they were telling what is important to them, so it was football of course, but they wanted to make the football yard even better, so they used kind of the momentum to actually give the message, because they know that this video is going to be in the Suomenlinna webpage and the board is going to watch it. Also, I think it was interesting that they actually were recording their own history. So maybe in the other way, it would have not been ever mentioned that what football teams were actually playing in that field in these years. So if somebody is researching these kind of things in the future, they will find out when they see this video. So interesting anyway. The other video is maybe more like a traditional, what we are maybe hoping that the kids do when we give them a chance to do the cultural heritage. I'm also going here.
Enligt en sägen uppstod Kvarkens skärgård när jätten Finn blev utdriven från Sverige.
Finngubben tog en stor skinnsäck och fyllde den med stora och mindre stenar eller klippstycken.
Då han kommit halvvägs över Kvarken gick det hål i säcken och stenar började falla ut.
När jätten Finn märkte att det hade gått hål i säcken blev han arg och började slänga stenar överallt.
Tanken var att stenarna skulle användas som försvar vid flytten till det nya landet. Men nu nu kom det istället att bilda öarna Replot, Björköby och Vallgrund.
Av dessa stenar bildades också valsjöar och det är många skär och holmar som finns synliga ännu idag.
We are also promoting all Finnish schools to celebrate the World Heritage Day, which is in the 18th of April every year. And for that, we don't only want them to do the day, but also we are sharing the materials and ideas and kind of putting all the ideas together and sending those to schools so they would have idea what they could be doing on 18th of April. For example, we have this online exhibition, Our Shared World Heritage, which is also in 3 languages. And this, I'm later once showing you this, but it's a link to our material bank where we collect stuff. Then we have the one project we do, History Clubs. This is for teenagers in 10 different towns and one in Copenhagen. And this is especially answering for needs. We had the Ministry of Education and Culture was a few years ago asking what kind of hobby children would like to have. And surprisingly many boys from the upper grades were saying that they would be interested of history. So that's why we got the funding and we started the project. And it's been growing quite slowly but steadily. And the clubs around the Finland are very different. So some of them are doing a lot of visits and some of them are doing more things in school. But the point is that they are activating the kids. So there's 2 photos. The other one down there is maybe what we often see in the museums, that the kids are there quite passively with their phones, and of course it might be that those girls are Googling more information about the artist, but might not well be. The upper photo is from Tampere History Club. The Tampere is a town in Finland which had the biggest fights in Civil War 100 years ago. And there's this year, when there's 100 years of the Civil War, there's a big exhibition of the Civil War. So the History Club went there and they were trying to relate the situation and the feelings. So it's basically shocking, since the Civil War scars are still kind of, they are evidently still there in Finland. And for example, in Tampere, every family knows which side their family was 100 years ago and what happened to their family. But they were trying to kind of do the museum a bit more emotional level. This is in Finnish. I'm trying to a little bit translate, because I said earlier that some of the kids are not really having the skills to say their opinion for some reason. So in the history clubs we have tried different ways how they could be telling what they want to do, because these history clubs, the kids are deciding what is interesting them. So first class or first meeting, they could, for example, mark, here is different options. So there's hometown history, board games, food culture, art, stories and fairies, architecture, photographing, drawing, computer games, reading and books, music, writing, guided tours, archives, ocean history, theater, wars, genealogy, old objectives, monasteries, visiting the local spots, the close history, recent history, museums, ghosts, movies, documentaries, parties, geocoaching, archaeology, old newspapers, fashion and design. So, or if nothing there is interesting you, you can mark and write your own. So we are trying to do what they want to do. I don't know if it's surprising for you, but our history club teachers are saying that they have a lot of hard time to tell what they usually, if it's their own history teacher who is giving the club, they want to a little bit please the teacher, so they maybe not openly say what they would want to do. These history clubs have also worked that way, that the kids who are maybe not in the best students in the formal classes, who are not getting the best grades are very active in these clubs. So it's kind of the good way of working for certain kind of kids who are interested but not maybe so good in the formal way of learning. Heritage hubs, where is Mariola? Where are you? There. She's going to tell more about it later. We have started a project this year with Spain and Serbia and Italy, and there is 3 to 5 schools picked in every country, and the kids are changing the heritage. And the heritage was supposed to be chosen by the kids. So in Finland, our schools were choosing, I think they were mostly like sports history. I can't say it was wrongly chosen, but we were like, okay, so they are very sporty schools. And I think in Spain they were choosing really like excellent, there was like fine history, like Baroque, women's kind of living in the Baroque times and this fine. But okay, when the Spanish school who has chosen this very fine thing goes to try the Finnish sports, that's going to be cultural exchange. So the project has started last summer, and we are kind of still hoping to create educational material to help educators integrate cultural heritage and intercultural dialogue into their work, and there's going to be a lot of videos also be done. This year our national project of the culture, this theme year, was this mobile roads. In Finland, many, not all, but really many museums have bought this kind of app that they can do mobile road in their museum or in the area, that you just open your phone and you can walk with the phone and it tells you history or some thematic parts of the town. So we wanted certain museums to open that app for kids to do their own roads. So there's going to be 10 roads in the museum exhibitions which are done by the school kids. And they are also interesting, like one of these roads was that the museum was giving, okay, these are our important places in this town, these are nice photos of those places, and here you can make the road. And then the students basically did what they were asked from. In the other town, the museum said, yeah, you can just pick up your favorite places in the town. So the kids went and they picked McDonald's and pizzeria and kebab place, and museum was maybe a little bit like, okay, shocked. But the kids were also informing in that mobile path that what is the history of the McDonald's in this town, like what building was there before, or when the pizza came to Finland and these kind of things. But when you are giving actually them the right to participate, the outcome might be different than you are thinking. We are also doing teacher training and seminars. Here is a photo from Suomenlinna last August. There's of course World Heritage in Suomenlinna, but we wanted to mix some intangible heritage there as well. So they are doing capoeira, because why not? And there's a comment from one teacher that practical workshops and exercises have been significant, and I now have ideas how to vitalize my lessons. Also, I have more confidence when it comes to culture heritage education. So far we've been getting good feedback. I'm getting short in my time, but maybe one more video. Is there any archaeologists here who have studied archaeology? Some, not many. I think this is going to be not surprising for archaeologists, and hopefully it's not very weird for others either. It's in Finnish, but it doesn't have a lot of words. It's a project in eastern Finland where the school was learning archaeology, and it's one of our projects. So first there was theory, and then the practice. And the joy of finding something, and prospect, I don't know that in English, documentation. This is the area they were doing the archaeology. And of course, after work, you have to clean what you have been finding and what it means. And then you have to make write it together, and you have to find out what is this? What can we think about this? And you have to work in the group with others. And there was some rock painting art also as well. And in the end they made an exhibition in the internet which they were doing themselves. So this was from there, and now I can maybe quickly show this web page. So this is the material bank for teachers in Finland. It's mostly in Finnish. That we get a lot of bad feedback from the Swedish-talking people, and we deserve it. We should have it in both languages. And there's over 500 materials, and it's divided by months. So this is 12 months. So, for example, if you are a teacher and you are wondering what should we do in November, there is materials ready for you. And also there's themes. So there's, for example, World Heritage. This is the generations and the traditions. This is the architecture, art, creativity, religions. International kind of stuff is here. Multicultural stuff and the local stuff. So we have over 60,000 users per year, but we are still growing and hoping to grow more. Some material is also in English, but maybe not very easy to find if you don't know any Finnish. I don't know how it is in you, but the Germans last week were surprised and almost horrified that we are mixing the intangible heritage and world heritage. They were a little bit thinking that the world heritage is so great and it's like a best examples, and at least they felt in Germany it's everybody's heritage is intangible heritage, and it's not so. It's just all kind of people have expressed their heritage, but we think it's a good mix to bring the schools, so it's a win-win situation to bring at the same time the both. And we organized with some other people a tour in Finnish schools last year. The first picture here is a boring where I am standing. It's a theory of the intangible heritage, but then there is the different kinds of intangible heritage examples that were straight to practice. These schools were picked to be the ones that have like a lot of kids who are refugees and who are like low social economic background. So that's why we also wanted to bring the foreigner teachers there. And actually when we had 9 workshops when we went to one school, so there was at least 8 teachers who were foreigners, so they kind of took over the school, and the teachers had to be also participating in these classes, so they at least a little bit felt how it is that the foreigner is teaching you, because they are often teaching the foreign kids. So these kind of things we want to put the teachers also away from their security area. There's also a video of that, but I'm ending my time. We have been planning the Cultural Heritage Makers competition for many years. Aim is to inspire children and young people to observe, explore and analyze their immediate surroundings. And this year we were so happy it expanded all European countries, not maybe very strongly yet, but it's going to be better next year, even more kids participating. And then I have a task, because I am doing what I'm preaching, so I want you to be participating. Maybe few of you saw that outside this hall there is a poster, the same poster, and there is. And I'm going to put these post-it notes to go through the audience, and I want you to write in one note, or you can take maybe 2 or 3 if you want and write there your most important heritage. Last week I did this in Germany. I was shocked because in few hours there wasn't many papers there in the poster. And then one guy came to say me, but I don't know the right answer. I've been thinking now 3 hours, what is the right answer? There's no wrong answer. So your heritage is your right answer, of course. So it can be whatever, and you can write it in Spanish or English or whatever language. I'm wanting to take a photo of it and share in our social media and remember you from this day. And there is some photos you maybe recognize. Something that is not common in Finland, we don't do that kind of towers at all, since we are hardly speaking, as you know, we are silent people. But down there where there's a fire, that's something we also do in Finland. So in the midsummer, we have these fires also, and I was learning from the UNESCO site that also in Spain there is these fires in the certain area, and it's on UNESCO list. And up there is sauna. And since I'm wanting you to share something, I also need to share something about myself. Sauna might be my answer for this paper. It's a very important thing in Finland. I once met a guy from Mexico who was horrified when he had found out that the Finnish people don't almost ever go to church. He was like, how can you be so? What kind of people you are? Are you atheists or communists or what? And I was trying to explain that we go to sauna. It's our temple. We go there naked and we are there silent and everybody's there equal, and that's the whole experience in Finland. So if you ever come to Finland, visit the sauna definitely. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias. Tenemos tiempo, porque hasta hay 10 no es la siguiente ponencia, tenemos tiempo para, pues para alguna pregunta. Así que manos arriba.
Hola, gracias por tu intervención. Lo voy a hacer en castellano para que sea más fácil la traducción. Cuando hablabas de que había profesores que tenían ese rol para poder programar las actividades, como el club de historia, etcétera, me gustaría saber qué implicación tienen con las instituciones, con los museos, cómo son los roles de los mediadores artísticos y en qué medida se facilita la comunicación entre ellos, ¿no? Si hay lugares comunes para esta comunicación.
It would be great if it would work, but maybe we are doing it a bit conservative way. We are hoping that it would be more in those other areas than just normal, like going to museum or doing it in school. But now when you asked it, I not remembering the examples at least. Probably there is, and there's like culture centers, but they are a little bit similar as museums. So it would be something that I think it would be important.
So do you think that mainly the main pressure of the programming is in teachers finding the resources out there instead of the other way round, maybe?
Well, the museums are getting finance from the Ministry of Culture and Education, and the ministry is expecting them to work with the schools and the kids, of course. But I don't think that their financing goes really down if they don't do it. So it's more maybe teachers' job, but it should be more two-way street, definitely. But it's more in the schools kind of work at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
¿Alguna pregunta más? Sí, por ahí.
Sí. Hello.
Hello.
I have a question for you. In all the pictures and all the videos we have seen about activities with children, I saw always small groups of children. In Spain we have a problem, I think everyone knows about the excessive numbers of children in the classroom.
How much is that? How big classes are?
Well, I think, for example, here in Madrid, 25, 30 children in a classroom. It's too much. Obviously, it's too much. You're an expert, and I ask you, do you think it's viable to have such wonderful activities, but in this terrible context. Thank you.
Well, of course, the little group is much better, that's for sure. In Finland, the 8th, 9th grade might be also big ones, so it might be almost 30 students or pupils in one group. But when the kids are smaller, like 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, then they are like 25 maximum. But some of these videos, we had put the classes in groups already, so there was like done that some of the kids of the group were with the other teacher that time and they were participating in the project. So we are not so ideal situation in Finland either. But of course it's important that you need to organize it, that there would be smaller groups when you do such a project. Thank you.